We're in a prone position, so we're on our stomach. Lower body's relaxed. We've got retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown head away, eyes looking down between our thighs to put the dura mater under tension. Make a diamond shape and rest your head on there. And for this one, we're going to be going into lateral flexion of the lumbar spine. So we're going to lift the legs. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Steven here with Team Euphoric, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to be your own therapist by demonstrating the top 5 strengthening exercises for posture correction, and more specifically, I'm going to be teaching you how to correct an elevated pelvis. Before I get on with the exercises, I first want to explain what exactly an elevated pelvis is and why exactly you should care. An elevated pelvis, as the name implies, is when one of the sides of your pelvis is going to be elevated. And when this happens, you're going to create a length tension discrepancy between the pelvic elevators and the pelvic depressors. And if you don't address it, it can lead to issues like low back pain, hip pain, knee pain, ankle pain, and foot pain. So you would want to address it immediately. And one of the ways in which we could address it would be to do some strengthening exercises for the muscles that are responsible for elevation of the pelvis, specifically on the depressed side. So if you have the right side that is going to be elevated, you would want to strengthen the pelvic elevators on the left side. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing for you guys today. So without further ado, here are the top 5 strengthening exercises for posture correction to correct an elevated pelvis. The first strengthening exercise for posture correction to correct an elevated pelvis is going to be for the Quadratus lumborum muscle, and ideally you'd want to do this up against the wall so you could use your arm for support, but I'm going to be doing it up against the glute ham raise. What we want to do is with the contralateral leg, we want to put it on some type of elevated surface. Then from here, what we want to do is go into retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown head up, eyes looking down between our thighs to put the dura mater under tension. With the contralateral arm, we're just going to go into maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation, arm up, and then with the ipsilateral leg, what we want to do is go into slight flexion by bringing the leg forward. We're going to go into extension of knee, dorsiflexion of ankle, inversion of ankle, medial rotation of femur, and then the principle of action for this one, we're going to go into slight abduction of the femur, so we're going to place the leg outside, and all we're going to do is try to compress the space between the pelvis and the rib cage. We're going to try and close up that gap right over there, and this is the strengthening exercise for the Quadratus lumborum muscle. Specifically, this was for the Iliolumbar fibers. The second strengthening exercise for posture correction to correct an elevated pelvis is going to be for the Longissimus muscle, and specifically we're going to be targeting the caudal fibers, meaning the fibers closer to the lumbar spine and the pelvis. And this is going to be the only exercise out of the 5 exercises that is going to be performed bilaterally. For it, we're going to be in a prone position, meaning you're going to be laying down on your stomach. And then from here, what we want to do is the lower body is going to be completely relaxed. We want to go into retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown head away, eyes looking down between our thighs to put the dura mater under tension. With the hands, you're going to make a nice little diamond shape, and you're going to place your head inside of your hands. And then from here, the principle of action is we want to go into lumbar extension. We're going to do that by lifting the legs up off the ground. And this is the strengthening exercise for the Longissimus, specifically the caudal fibers. Next, the third strengthening exercise for posture correction to correct an elevated pelvis is going to be for the Iliocostalis muscle. And once again, we're going to be targeting the caudal fibers, meaning the fibers closer to the lumbar spine and the pelvis. For it, the setup position is going to be identical. We're in a prone position, so we're on our stomach. Lower body's relaxed. We've got retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown head away, eyes looking down between our thighs to put the dura mater under tension. Make a diamond shape and rest your head on there. And for this one, we're going to be going into lateral flexion of the lumbar spine. So we're going to lift the legs up, and then we're going to move side to side. If we want to work on the right side, we're going to move the legs toward the right. And this is the strengthening exercise for the iliocostalis muscle, specifically the caudal fibers. And then the fourth strengthening exercise for posture correction to correct an elevated pelvis is going to be for the transversospinalis group. This one, we're once again going to be targeting the caudal fibers, and once again, the setup position is going to be identical to the last 2 exercises that we just did. We're in a prone position, so we're on our stomach. We're going to have the lower body relaxed, retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown head away, eyes looking down between our thighs to put the dura mater under tension. Make a diamond shape with your hand. And for this one, we're doing negative torsion. What I mean by that is we're doing a combination of extension with rotation. So if we want to work on the right transversospinalis group, what we want to do is take our right heel and bring it toward the left shoulder. But this is the strengthening exercise for the transversospinalis group, specifically the caudal fibers. And last, the fifth and final strengthening exercise for posture correction to correct an elevated pelvis is going to be the single arm lat pull down. For it, we're going to get into a half kneeling position, so as though you're in the bottom position of the lunge. Whatever knee is on the floor, that's going to be the hand that we're going to be using for the lat pull down. And for it, we're going to use a high pulley cable machine. We're going to go ahead and grab a hold of a D handle, and then for the exercise, we've got retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown head up, eyes looking down between our thighs to put the dura mater under tension. And for it, all we're going to do is bring the arm into adduction by bringing the arm down toward the pelvis. And this is the strengthening exercise for the Latissimus dorsi muscle. And there you have it. Those were the top 5 strengthening exercises for posture correction to correct an elevated pelvis. If you have an elevated pelvis, or if you have issues with regard to low back pain, hip pain, knee pain, ankle pain, or foot pain, go ahead and give those exercises a try. And if you have given them a try, go ahead and drop your comments down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys thought of the exercises. In terms of the actual programming for the exercises, what you would want to do is 3 sets of 50 repetitions. That's 5-0, not 1-5. The reason we're going so high with the repetitions is because we're trying to elicit a postural change. And whenever we're trying to elicit a postural change, one of the most important things is going to be accumulating enough time under tension. And if we do the typical 8 to 12 bodybuilding rep range, we're not going to be able to accumulate that time under tension. So 3 sets of 50 repetitions for each of the strengthening exercises. And one thing worth noting is that it is going to be 3 sets of 50 repetitions on the side that is going to be depressed. On the side that is elevated, we don't want to neglect it entirely. We would want to do less volume though. So for every 3 sets we do on the depressed side, we would do anywhere from 1 to 2 sets on the elevated side. If you have a very, very severe pelvic elevation, then what you would do is 1 set on the elevated side for every 3 sets on the depressed side. If you have a very, very mild elevation, then on the elevated side, you would do 2 sets for every 3 sets you do on the depressed side. But that's it in terms of the actual programming for the actual strengthening exercises. And then in a couple days, I'm going to be taking you through the top 5 myofascial stretching exercises for posture correction to correct an elevated pelvis. And those are going to be a terrific complement to the exercises that we just did today. So be out on the lookout for that this Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. If you have any questions at all with regard to the programming or any of the exercises that you saw, go ahead and ask your questions down in the comment section so I can help you guys out. But that's pretty much it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button so I know to keep making these types of videos in the future. And if you're either new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, as I will be uploading new videos every single day. That's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again tomorrow.